Season 3, baby. There it is. That's it. Goodbye, everybody.
And we're done. Back to you in the studios.
Happy New Year, everybody. Well, we'll be on Happy New Year, but it's February. Happy February, and welcome to the Season 3 premiere of Beyond 2D with myself, Jessica Dugas, and my fabulous co-host. No, that's not what we're doing here tonight.
Oh, okay. I'm Farron, Dozier.
There it is. There it is, everybody.
What's happening?
I'm so excited to be back because I feel more than ever before, if it's even possible, that we need more of these deep conversations and a safe space to have them, which I think we provide here.
Can we create that? I don't know about now. we about to go against the grain.
Yeah, I said this to you before off the air that I feel like I'm ready to just. But no, actually, I said it when you were on Project Joy last week. I'm ready to just push the boundaries a little bit this year.
Yeah. I think so. Let's do it. We can add some more descriptive context to the conversation. How's that?
We can act up a little.
Yeah, we can act up a little bit.
Little bit. Brittany's excited we're here, by the way. She is now. Back. Wait until we get into the conversation.
Welcome back. I used to love Welcome Back, Carter. Welcome back.
That's taking us back now. It's not Throwback Thursday yet for
Oh, no, my bad. It's Love Tuesday.
Love Tuesday. Yes. Speaking of love, we are going to spend the next 4 episodes, our first mini series of Beyond 2D of this year. See, you pointed the wrong way, so it doesn't matter. We're going to be talking about love, and tonight's episode is called "What is Love?" We're just going to take some inventory this episode. We're going to take some inventory. So if you're watching live or on the replay, before you hear us get into it, we would love for you to go over to the comments and define love for yourself. What is love?
Baby, don't hurt me no more.
Yep. We got to get which way do we go? There we go.
This way? I don't know. Are we on? Am I on mirror?
We're mirrored. Because that makes it more fun during karaoke. Okay. Or during the dance contest. But yeah, so I think we gave a little preview when you were on Project Joy last week about kind of what we were going to be diving into a little bit. And tonight, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about what is love, what does love mean to us, and all of that, just to get a starting point.
I'm coming for the education because I don't know.
I'm sure you have something to offer in this conversation.
Nothing to contribute.
So listen, again, if you're joining us live or on the replay, head over to the comments. Let us know, what is love for you? What does love mean to you? What's your definition? I'm going to put it in the down on the screen so we can remember the question. What is love to you? That's what I want you to start by telling us. Shall we start with the dictionary definition to give us somewhere to go? Okay.
Yes. I'll start there with you.
Okay. So dictionary.com, my good friend there, love is a noun, a person, place, or thing. So I guess in this case it would be a thing. A strong feeling of warm personal attachment or deep affection, such as for a parent, child, friend, or pet. I find it really funny that the first definition in dictionary.com doesn't say anything about like a love, like a romantic relationship.
Oh, yeah. That's where it goes to, though, in the world, though.
Right. But is it just assumed then that it's a love is automatically there? I don't know about that.
We make it part of that. That's why.
Yeah. The number 2 definition says a profoundly tender, passionate affection, often mingled with sexual desire for another person.
Oh, there's a romantic part over there. It's the number 2.
Second place. Second place.
That's important.
So
it's more important.
It is. How do you feel about the textbook definition of it?
So when you look at it, a strong feeling of warm personal attachment, right?
Mm.
What I learned about attachments is no good, first of all. So then we skip over to a deep affection. Now I can go with the deep affection. That should be
Mm.
it should be the deep affection should come first, not the warm attachment.
A strong feeling of warm, deep affection.
Or just a deep affection.
A deep affection. Okay. So that's what we're going with.
I told you I don't know about love.
No, this is going to be great. It's going to be great. Okay. Brittany said, love is energy, connection, and deep understanding. It's feeling seen, safe, and free all at once. It's a home and an adventure wrapped into one. We are love. So there was a lot in that.
Bring that back. Bring that back. Bring that
Okay.
back. Bring that back. Now, when she says that, my mind goes to I have to have love for myself because no one can make me feel safe,
Mm.
right? And so as she put her statement there, like I'm examining front my love, right? Because mine is all jacked up. But
Yeah.
I have a better understanding today, and I understand today that no one can make you feel safe.
Mm.
You have to experience that for yourself first. And if you can't make yourself feel safe, you're putting that pressure on the other person to make you feel safe.
Mm.
They're never gonna make you feel safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they do, it's temporary.
I would agree with that, especially right in this moment. So I was having a conversation with someone earlier today who had been in a relationship with someone for several years.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a relationship that they like never had an argument. Um they she always felt warm and gooey, like they were like for years.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden,
Mm-hmm.
homeboy literally got up in the middle of dinner, walked out, and girlfriend that he's had on the side picked him up and they left. So I'm sitting I'm sitting here. Here's someone who literally felt safe for
Mm-hmm.
years, felt like this is the love of my life. We're going
Mm-hmm.
to get married, whatever. We're going to be together forever. And he just up and left in the middle of dinner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so now typically I would be feeling like, okay, if I think about this, does my husband make me feel safe? Yes, but I recognize what you're saying, that the feeling of safety has to come
It
from.
lives it lives over here. It don't live out there.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Because and then when you hear stories like that, you're like, what happened? It was safe, but then not, you
And so
know?
and so and I appreciate her point
Absolutely.
because when I look at myself, it's like when I say I need you to make me feel safe, that's the description.
Mm,
What is it that I'm pointing to? That's the safe part. Then that's where you got to have a talk.
mm,
What is that about the safe? Is it making sure that all the bills are paid? Is it making sure that the finances are straight? Like, what is that description of feeling
yeah.
safe? Because it doesn't exist out there. It exists in my mind
Mm,
of for that feeling because we're talking about the definition. It's a
right.
feeling. And my feeling about safety is way different probably from yours.
Mm-hmm.
So then we're not saying the same safe.
Yep. Yep. Every single word, and I love this, Brittany. Every single word that Brittany used here, and every single word that I've used, every one that you've used so far, is all processed such a different way, person to person. So
Mm-hmm.
we need to break down. If I'm saying to you, okay, love is energy, what energy means to me and Brittany
If
and you,
what
very
three
different things.
different? Yeah, you're gonna get
Right.
three different. And so again, we want to be in love and we want all this affection and all that, but then I'm still feeling crazy over here.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense anymore to
Yeah.
me. That's why I'm okay with my comment.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
it's it's a different conversation today at 54.
Yeah. I do think that love, the definition of love, uh could change a lot. I know I used the word layered when we were talking on Project Joy, and what I meant by that is that I feel like love is something that is, um it comes to be a being, like an existing for me.
Mhm.
um and I've heard from some people saying, love is a natural thing that happens. And I hear from other people saying love is a choice. And I'm not sure at this point in my life that love is a completely, like, something that we can grasp,
Yeah.
because there's so many nuances to it. And there's so many moments where I say, okay, in times where things are really good, it's real easy to love.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's really like you just feel it. You're like, "Ooh," it feels like
Mhm.
bubbles. It's just
Mhm.
wonderful, right? Um,
Mhm.
and then times when it's really hard, times when you're in the midst of conflict.
When love is a battlefield.
uh, See, Pat Benatar
See?
had it. Um, we are young. Okay. Uh, those times I lean more towards feeling like love is a choice in those moments, because but is it really love that it's a choice, or is it just sticking around that's the choice, like, and love is just present anyway? So there's just so many
but
things.
but but that's what I'm saying. Again, for me, after I had to deal with all the broken relationships and go and to be in the space today, like I said, her comment is so perfect because we describe life. We don't say what it is. And if
Yeah.
we say what it is, it gives that person a better opportunity to hear, oh, you know what? Guess what? If that's what you need, guess what? Maybe we should just be friends.
Mm,
Because I don't think I could live up to all that warmth, energy, and
mm,
and emotional state that you are expecting to have to equal what love is.
yeah.
So then why I should have an opportunity to be like, you know what, maybe we should just really be friends because I don't think I can I don't think I can meet that. Those are some expectations and a lot of unspoken expectations that you know what I need to know. Nah, I can't do walks on the park every day at 5 o'clock,
Mm,
like Monday through Friday. Like I can't. Like
yeah.
so it's perfect because again, in these conversations on Beyond 2D, we're hoping that you see that you just can't describe life no more. You just can't
Mm,
describe it. You've got to have the confidence and the courage and the strength to be like, this is what I want,
mm,
and this is what I'm expecting, and this is what I'm lacking in myself.
yeah.
So then I can be like, okay, well, you know what, that's cool, and then it's negotiable.
Right.
But if you have a set expectation that I need this energy and I need this from you, yeah, well, I might not be that guy for you.
Yeah, and that stuff to me, that's stuff. That's like, that's not like the walks on in the park or whatever at exactly 6:52 p.m., whatever. That's not love for me. Those could be love in action. Like, if I knew that that's what my partner liked, then that could be me being loving through action.
Oh yeah, it's negotiable. Yes, I'm saying it could be
Right, but
negotiable.
but to me, like, the actual things isn't the energy of love, like Brittany's talking about. She had another comment that came
But that's
after that said,
but go back. That's we didn't touch about the attachment. What you're pointing to is the attachment of love. That's what we're
well,
looking.
it's
That's
what
what we're
people
describing.
people associate it with. It's the relationship between what people are feeling and the actions that they're taking, or the actions that they're not taking, or how they, like, for example, I hear this all the time. People grow up watching Disney movies, right? And we grow up watching Disney movies, and oh, this is love.
Ba-da-ba-ba.
Little birds are flying and everything.
Tweet, tweet.
So we get this idea, right, of what love is supposed to look like. And
Mhm.
then we are blown out of the water when we're adults, and it don't look like Disney.
or Pat Benatar.
Right. We don't have the guns out and everything.
No, but the it's that definition. It's the attachment. And when I learned in my personal development education about the difference between attached versus committed, the attachment is all reasons. And I could tell the truth. And I was married at the time. And when I did that exercise in my development class, and we wrote on this chalkboard all the words that were attachment words. And they even wrote over words because it was so many words. And then we wrote all the words about commitment. And guess what? In my marriage, not one word was a committed word. It was all attached. And I had to then examine myself and figure that out. So the attachment in relationships is because if it's a reason, and we get together for a lot of reasons. Oh, your hair and your eyes and your this and that and the this, and he takes me here and she takes me, all the reasons why, right. But you ain't paying attention, nothing about the character, nothing about none of that behavior. And then, like you said, you have that first argument, you're like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. We've been good for that. Wow, that you blew up on that. Now you guarded. Like, okay, hey. Yeah. And now it happens another time. You're like, oh, whoa. Now, that's the attachment. We can get stuck.
I mean, look, I go back to the original thing that Brittany, I'm using you as a just whole example tonight, okay? Because it's perfect. I think about times when with my own husband, my husband's gonna love. I hope you're watching, baby, because I love you and I'm sorry.
Up,
yo? I can think of times within our last, we're going to be married 15 years in December, okay? When I didn't feel super connected to him, or I didn't feel understood, I didn't feel seen, I probably didn't feel safe for a minute, I didn't really feel free. I didn't feel like that he was home for just a brief moment there because we're going through something. And so it for me, like the energy, the love is something so much more complex than I can even grasp, because during all those moments when I didn't feel connected, understood, seen, safe, free, all of those things, I still loved him. So I don't know, like, because I can think, and even taking the relationship with my husband off the table, I can think of a lot of times when I really love somebody, but I don't like what they're saying, or I don't like how they're behaving or how they're acting at the moment. So I feel like there's just so much more than meets the eye, because I know other people who've had those experiences and they're done. If somebody says something they don't like, they don't feel the love no more, they don't nothing, they're shut down. So there's so many questions wrapped up in just that little.
And it's different for everyone. So I might be saying this too soon in the episodes. I don't know if I want to say it or not. Maybe I shouldn't say it. Yeah, maybe I'll wait. Maybe I'll wait for that one. That's too soon.
Pause for the cup. Yeah.
So no, I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
if you can't accept a person's genuine, authentic love first, you can't have all those expectations and attachments and all that other stuff. And so maybe that's why they say love is a sacrifice, or love is something, because you've got to be able to give up your view for that other person's considerations and stuff. So I'm at the place now that if I can't accept your natural love, or you can't accept my natural love, then maybe we should have another conversation, because I'm not going to start pretending to act a certain way for you to like me.
Right.
And so I think we not that I think, but at some point we got to get to that just basic level of, can I accept you for who you are and who you're not? And that's where love comes in that space.
So do you feel like acceptance comes before love, after love, or is it the same playing field?
I believe, because acceptance is a word you have to break out, because I can accept you and I don't have to accept you. It has nothing to do with if I love you or not. because the acceptance comes from me still. I have to be okay. I could not accept you and still have love for you. So I don't know if those are even for me. I don't think they're connected.
Mm.
So
Yeah, I know a lot of people try to connect love with other things, but I'm not. I think I really feel like love stands on its own.
yeah,
That it's by itself, because like you're saying, like I can say, okay, to me love is respect, but there's some people that I don't respect, that I'm not sure that I love in a certain kind. I don't know. I mean, I don't know them well enough to know.
right. So love is still a descriptive context. That's what I'm looking at. It's
Right.
still descriptive, and everybody's going to describe it 100 different ways, and some of us
Mm,
might describe it the same way.
right.
But you're going
Right.
to get different versions of what love is for that person. But then you got to go back to the layer. Then where did that come from?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And why is that part of love so important? Well, guess what? I want loyalty so much in my love relationships because my loyalty was hurt before.
Mm,
So now I need to see that before I show you my love. So you got to show me yours first. So
mm.
we're playing this love game.
We're playing
Emotions.
games, and I don't
We're
like
playing
that.
games. Yeah. So
Like,
we
I'm
can't
getting too
describe.
old for that. I'm getting too.
I don't have enough hair no more for that.
Brittany was saying, I think we can still accept a person and love a person and not want them around.
Yes, for
Um,
sure.
yeah,
Yes.
boundaries.
Let's
We
call
love that
boundaries,
word.
baby. Let's call boundaries, baby. I'm with you, see?
Yes! We're
I
so
learned
proud.
from
We're so proud.
Marco. So I understand what boundaries is, baby. And
Yeah,
yes, I
that's
love
it.
you, but I don't want to be around your behavior, baby.
Right. That's
So
it.
let me
That is
know.
it.
Where you at? Where
We've
you at?
come so far. We've come so far. So she said, here I was trying to paraphrase because it's so much deeper. But I think
It
I
was
no,
good though. It was
I
good.
so appreciate it, because I think we all do that every single time somebody is asked, what does love mean for you? It is so nuanced and layered and complex that all we can do is list things that we like sort of associate with it, which proves to me, like you were talking about, that we need to be having deeper conversations about
Yes.
love,
Yes.
because so that the other people that are in our lives know what it actually means to
Yes.
us.
And if it's long walks in the park on a nice summer night, then let's plan it and practice and yeah, but every day.
Why do we keep, let's have a conversation about why we keep going back to these long walks in the park. Ron, who
No,
hurt
no,
you?
you know why? No, because those are the unspoken expectations.
Right, right,
And that's my best example of someone who says,
right.
well, what do you like to do? I like long walks on the beach. Well, how long?
Yeah. How and
Like,
what
uh,
time of year?
right,
Because the beach
right.
here in Connecticut in February is freezing cold.
And I'm saying that if you don't have those talks, then that person expecting to go on a long walk with you and you're not doing it. And so now that's all they're keeping score of. You're
Right.
keeping negative score because you ain't taking me on no long walk at the park. I told you that's what I like. And but they're like, well, how how often?
Do you need a long walking partner, or like, just
I like the beach.
we're gonna break to a love connection commercial.
Back to you in the studios. Camera 2. Where's camera 2? Go to camera 5.
Yeah, well, we don't have one of those, but yeah, I think it's important to have the deeper conversation about
That's all
these
I'm saying.
things that we're listing to describe what love means to us. What do they really mean? What do they look like? And having those sometimes challenging conversations with our loved ones who may be processing love in a very, very different way than we are. One of the things that I want to talk about, because we discussed this when we had talked about the series initially, and then don't stop shaking your head at me. That's not love. Just so you know, so we're clear, the shaking of the head for me does
That
not
means
say love.
is that what that means? Well, let me sit still then.
Okay, no, seriously though, you were talking about the different ways that love is described in the Bible, and I want to talk about that because I have them all here ready to show the people.
Okay, yeah, let's we
So
can
what
break
we're gonna
those
do
out.
is we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about all the
What
different
is love?
types of
Baby, it
love,
don't hurt. That's my favorite.
and Farron will continue to sing to you
Owner of the Lord.
as we come back from break. We'll be right back after this. Don't go anywhere. Go, go,
Check
go.
this out. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm blessed, my brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hey, did you see the game last night?
Oh, that was a good game.
But did you see the shot?
I lost money from that shot.
Oh,
too,
man, that
brother.
shot was cold,
I
man.
hated it, but it was good. Damn. What's in those jeans?
You really want to know?
I do.
Exhaustion, muscle spasms, asthmatic issues, unexpected sickle cell trait crises.
Damn. Are you serious? When I was young, I found out I had sickle cell trait. My mom's told me, but I ain't have no knowledge of it. But when I got older, I had a child, and the doctor told me my daughter has sickle cell trait. Do you know the facts that both parents have sickle cell trait? There's a 50% chance the child may have the trait, and 25% chance the child may have the disease.
Hey, that's what's the count. Do you know that 2.5 million people in the United States have sickle cell trait, 300 million people globally? I didn't find out I had sickle cell trait until I was in the Army 10 years. Next thing you know, I had a sickle cell trait exertion site.
Sickle cell? I thought that was a black gene or something.
Nah, man, the Latin community is number 2. 1 out of 36,000 babies are being born with sickle cell disease. You could be Caucasian, Mediterranean, European. You gotta know your bloodline, man. There is an inherited gene in our community that has been forgotten. The name is sickle cell trait. WDCONSCT, also known as What's the Count, is out to bring awareness, education, and prevention to people all over the globe. Want more information? Call us now at 323-215-5384 or visit www.wdconsct.org.
Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home. Where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com. Welcome back, everybody, to the season 3 premiere of Beyond 2D with myself, Jessica Dugas.
I
and
love
Farron
your
Dozier.
work. Wow, I felt so warm.
I'm still working on your video. Listen, I get so caught up when I'm making things for other people because I want it to be right, and I struggle.
That's what's connected to love.
It is.
Trying to be right.
It is.
You don't have to be right.
Okay.
Let me shake my head.
No. Okay, so one of the things that you talk about often is how the Bible breaks down love into different words.
Mhm.
And all of you folks out there that are not religious, I don't want you to go change the channel,
Yeah,
okay?
because I'm
Because
not religious either.
this is a good lesson.
I'm
So
not religious.
sit down, get your drink back, put your drink down on the table and listen. Get a
H
pen,
to the
maybe.
Izzo. Get you some H to
Okay.
the Izzo.
All right. I've broken down. I'm going to start at the bottom of the list, actually.
Now, I don't use all of these, but we can go through them though.
Can we just go through
Yeah,
them?
go
Because
through
I
them.
think
Yeah,
it'll
let's
be
do it.
fun.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it. Let's do
We're going to
it.
start at the bottom here.
Luda.
Okay. Luda. Okay. A playful, flirtatious love that's common in the early stages of a relationship. It can include teasing, laughter, and playful
Mhm.
motives. I think a lot of us remember that honeymoon phase.
That's where it all gets twisted.
That honeymoon phase. Yeah.
I can't even bat my eyes that fast when I get dizzy.
But I think many of us have experienced
Oh yeah, we
that
experienced that one.
feeling. Even if the relationship didn't go further, when we meet that quote love at first sight sort of,
And it's like when I guess most women ask that, what are we? Well, this is where we are right here.
Mm,
We're flirting right now.
yeah.
We're
Okay.
in Buddhist love right now.
Okay. So we need to, what I think is people need to tell people when it has gone from this phase to something else, because I think you're right that things get twisted a lot, and a lot of the issues happen when two people in a relationship, whether we're talking about a love relationship or not, any kind of
Mhm.
relationship,
No,
this
that's fine.
twisted happens when one person feels one kind of love and the other person feels something different.
But we describe it in the English definition
But I love you though.
of attachment and deep affection.
Yeah.
No more of that.
Yeah. So we need to, okay, so that's the
So
first
tell your
one.
partner that one if that's where you at. And that
Right.
might be for today. You might be in the mood of that love right there. And you might be like, I'm flirtatious love today.
Mm.
Oh, okay. So we could play that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get on the same page.
I'm not sure it would be appropriate if you've been married for 15 years to say, I'm feeling Ludus love today. Like,
Why
I'm not
not?
sure.
Why not? That's communication.
Because Ludus and it better be that deeper love.
See, that's the problem. He might not be feeling deep love today because his mind is so occupied with stress.
I don't
and
care.
work.
You better find
See
it.
what I'm saying?
Fix it, Jesus.
Back to you in the studios. Back to you in the studios, Jim.
And see, I'm very
that's
similar to
fine.
Brittany. She says I'm like that all the time. I would like for it to stay playful throughout.
See?
I'm far too silly, and I'm same. I just feel like, I don't know. I sort of feel like if you're married, it better be more than just playing.
Oh, see, attachments.
It better be more than just playing. I'm just saying that's where I'm
attachment.
at. Okay, we want
That's the
honesty on this
attachment.
show. That's where I'm at.
It's beyond that, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're
beyond
attached to it, but you have to be flexible, though.
I am flexible. I am totally flexible. Yep.
Next word, please.
Next. Love of the self, which can be healthy or unhealthy. When healthy, it can lead to self-worth and confidence. When unhealthy, it can lead to arrogance and narcissistic behaviors.
And that we have to have that first. If you don't have self-love for yourself, then it's attached to something outside of you, and anybody can play with that.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous.
Yep.
That's I'm gonna bust your windows out and flatten your tires.
Carrie Underwood sang about that.
I don't know who she is.
I dug my key into.
Oh, that song? Yeah, yes, that was brutal. I turned that off when I hear that one. I never had that happen to me, but I turned that off. I didn't want to hear that.
Don't cheat. If you don't want that to happen to your car.
But maybe I was just doing the Ludus love. I was just flirting. That was it. Okay, get to the other definition because there's some other ones. Next, please.
A steady familial love.
My favorite.
That naturally forms between family members, such as parents and
favorite.
children or siblings.
Now, this one I use because the Storge love, if you read it, it comes with a sense of, my interpretation has a sense of obligation when you look at it from the one that I found. And that family love, we feel the obligation to, I got to do this because that's my brother or sister. I feel like I got to do that for you because it comes with the love of, but also the obligation. And sometimes I don't feel like doing it for you, even though you're my brother or sister or my loved one. And so I can't have the freedom to say no. I can't tell my siblings no because I feel like I'm obligated to all the time. That could get twisted too.
Yeah, well, and see, I think a lot of what you're talking about has to do with that, with more of the attachment of what roles in family are supposed to be, rather than necessarily love. Because when I was looking up information about Storge, um, it I didn't see a lot about obligation or any like I hear more about obligation regarding this definition when it comes from you.
Okay, I'm gonna find it. Go
So
ahead.
it's in, I'm not saying it's not out there. What I'm
Mhm.
saying is I think that the family things have more to do with your expectations of what family roles are rather than a what a love definition would be.
But I'm saying, and that's the difference, because the experience of it being like, I have to do this because you're my brother or sister, that's the obligation experience for some that allows you to not be able to say no to that person.
Right. Which
Or,
for me, what I'm saying is for me, it has nothing to do with love. That doesn't have anything to do with love. That has to do with what you believe family expectation is supposed to be.
which happens a lot. And we mix
Right.
that with love. That's what I'm saying. We mix
Right.
that obligation with love, and it's not.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I think I process our family relationships and things. I don't know. I think I process it a little bit differently, but either way, it's a love that happens naturally between family members, and so it's a good one to look at, as well as we're talking about this conversation. Here's the next one. A deep, intimate love between friends. We heard about some of this during, without saying philia or anything, but we talked about some of this as people described friendships in the friendship paradox that came out at the end of last year. I heard a lot of this, like deep, intimate love. And this is also the love that my husband and I have had a lot of conversations with about, because I am a person, and I'll say this before we even get to the other stuff, that I love very deeply a lot of people. I love just, I think I'm at a point in my life where I am love. I feel like I'm living that. It's easier for me to make the choice to love in really challenging situations. So anyway, we've had this conversation though, because I use the word love a lot. And so we've had this talk of like, okay, this is what I mean when I say I love Farron, I love Brittany, Teresa, whoever, this is what I'm talking about.
Right. And if we just use the regular word love, people from the outside looking in could be like, oh, like, oh, she loves Brittany, huh? What's going on over there? And so, but when you say this type of love,
right,
they know, oh, you're talking about that deep friendship love. Oh, okay, that's
right.
That's what that is.
Right.
And so,
Yeah.
but our definition in the English is how many different, like I said, I love you and I love my car with the same energy.
There's a phrase I say when we're joking around and stuff with my kids, where I say I love you like I love cake. And it's a joke, like it's a and then my daughter will say I love you like I love pie, and it's just this cute little thing. And but when you break that down a little bit, how I say I love it, I love it all I just say it all because I feel it. That's why I keep going back to it. It's something I can't really describe because it's just something I feel, that it's like I'm ready to I'm a fountain that's just ready to just all these little hearts.
Yeah. And I was definitely, for me, I was definitely guarded with love. So it sounds like I love you and it's 75 degrees outside. Let's go. Like,
yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
because they were so guarded from the hurts. So again, people have to understand what that where it's coming from for you, for sure.
Right. 100%. 100%. And we can't do that unless we're having a conversation.
Have a
everybody.
conversation.
This is a fun one. Okay.
That's the one you talking about earlier.
A passionate or romantic love between people who are sexually attracted to each other. In the Bible, it's also known as marital love.
That's that one you was pointing to, that the English definition didn't say none of that.
It didn't say that until number 2, second place, guys.
That's what I'm saying. So
it's interesting. It's interesting though. So a passionate or romantic love. So I think about some folks that I've seen that describe their marriage as more of like, I'm not saying that they use these words, but when they describe it, it makes me feel like it's kind of like a business transaction rather than this eros love.
See, but see, that's my version of love though. My version of love was like it was a business. Like it was business. Like this is business. And everybody doesn't have that experience of it.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like the Bible calls this marital love, which so that's why I find it interesting is that there's so many people that I've seen describe their marriages not like this.
Yeah, for sure. Mine felt like transactional, like it's business. Like this is a business deal. Love is not even in the equation. And no wonder why it didn't work out. But that's how I felt. And even my friends on the outside would be like, we would talk like, yeah, it's just like business. Like you take care of this, I take care of that. You take care of this, I take care of that. You pay this, you pay that. And then we meet in the middle, and and there's no love in that.
Right.
Yeah, there's no experience. Should I say the experience of love is different though. Right? Because to me, that's my experience of love in that. But for the person, they might need some romantic love and some all that other stuff that if I'm not in that space, then you're not gonna experience that from me. And so now you have two different versions of what love is, and then divorce is 54%.
That's it.
And maybe if we'd had these kind of conversations, I would have had a better understanding of relationships.
Right.
Maybe it would have been a different outcome. But this is why we have to have these kind of talks, because that person might be ready for that kind of love and you're not.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not wrong. It's not a right or wrong conversation. It's a conversation that just needs to be had to instead of describing where you are, like, okay, hey, this is where I'm at.
Right. And I think that's what I get into when I'm talking about how I've heard people describe their marriage like that. There's part of me being the lovey-gushy person that I am that's like, oh, that makes me so sad. I want you to feel like all the little tinklies and all that.
Right.
But on the other side of that, if both parties came into the relationship not feeling something different, then as long as they've had that conversation and it works for them, whatever. Like that's not my business at that point, you know?
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at today. Like, you know, when you have these kind of conversations, like if you want romantic, so I had romantic stuff. I don't feel like I'm a romantic person. Right. But I don't feel that way because of some past hurts that when I tried to be romantic to that person, to her, it wasn't romantic. But I'm thinking that this is what romance is. And it's like, oh no, bro, this is not what I was talking about. Then it's like, well, damn.
Yeah.
So then after you feel a few of those diminished, it's like, well, who cares about romantic love?
Right.
So then you can't even have that. You're not even open to have those conversations. Because now you're living from your past hurts. Now now with that other person, if I share that with another person and they was like, that was romantic. Well, yeah, but not for them.
Right.
So then I feel stupid. And then I don't want to feel stupid in romance. So then I don't even want to have that life no more.
There is nothing that will kill the mood other than feeling stupid.
That's what I'm saying. But you want love. We want love and acceptance and this energy and feelings and deep affection. But the date that I take you on that I think is romantic, you tell me is not. So then what am I doing?
Right.
And then we're gonna stay together?
Yeah.
No, that's 54% marriage rate.
Right. All right. I want to get to this this last
yeah,
one
go
here
ahead.
because I have some
That's
questions
the
around this
one.
one. Okay. Agape love, a
Yes.
divine, unconditional love that some say is the highest form of love. In the Bible, it's the love that God has for humans.
That's right.
And I want to show you something really quickly before we get into this. So, I love going into Chat GPT and asking it questions just to see what it'll say.
Yeah, for sure.
So I went into it and I said, okay, this is going to be a little outside of the box, but for the purpose of the show tonight, what do you believe love is?
Oh, come on, Chat GPT.
Okay, let's see what it says.
What did they say?
They said, I love this question because love is such a vast, multi-layered experience that it touches every part of life. For the purpose of Beyond 2D tonight, see, it knows when we have a show because mine knows me.
Thank you.
For the purpose of basically, ChatGPT is a fan. Are you? That's okay. For the purpose of Beyond 2D tonight, I define love as, quote, the energy that connects, transforms, and expands us beyond ourselves.
Okay, ChatGPT.
Love is connection, whether it's between people, ideas, or even within ourselves. It's the force that makes us feel seen, valued, and understood. Love is transformation. It challenges us, stretches us, and sometimes even breaks us open so we can grow. Love is expansive. It's not just about romance or relationships. It's how we care for strangers, how we pursue our passions, and how we show up in the world. Love is both the simplest and most complex thing we experience. It's the comfort of a hug, the ache of longing, the quiet presence of someone who just gets you, and the boundless joy of being fully yourself.
Okay, chat.
Okay.
All right, AI. You ain't all bad. I still don't have confidence in you, though.
I had a moment with that. So then it comes up because then it's going to be smart. But now I have to ask you, how would you define love for tonight's show?
Oh, you want to talk back to you? No, that's
you're not the host, ChatGPT. Okay, but I did ask, some questions, and there is one that came up that goes along with this one. If love is an energy, does it exist outside of human relationships? Can the universe itself love? So that was a very because I feel like it sort of ties into this, because for me, agape is divine, unconditional. So something, when you say the word divine to me, I think of every and all, just the whole.
Yeah, but that's where this conversation can go in the direction, because you have different beliefs in the world,
right?
And so some people believe and they speak to the universe, which is not my say is right or wrong, because I'm not religious. However, that could be what they define as what God is for them. So God for me is not that.
Right.
So it's whatever you feel, where you are in the moment, to what that God for you is. If it's energy, if it's that kind of universe, that's fine. But from my perspective, in my walk, in my relationship with God and the Trinity, this is what we strive to be like, right? And so we practice being kindness and perseverance and charity, because that produces the kind of love that God has for his people. And so I don't even use the word unconditional love anymore for my life, because it gives me no power, because unconditional love still has conditions in it.
Right.
And so if I have unconditional love, then that's going to be cool to love you. But as soon as those conditions change, then my love changes.
Right.
And that's not how it is.
I was going to ask you if you think it's possible for any human being to have unconditional love. From your perspective, we're not saying right or wrong here, but from your perspective.
I think. See, I think from a space from the space from our soul, our mind, will, and emotions, it's unconditional, yes. But from your spiritual being, it wants to be just love,
right?
And I believe that's the battle that we have with ourselves, because I want to just love you with whatever, but my mind, my will, and emotions have been fractured, So I
Right.
got to put up these conditions because I'm protecting myself. Unconditional love is where you're still protecting yourself from something.
Mm.
And so you got to look at the language. Biblically, a divine unconditional love, that means like God loves regardless. In the spiritual context, it's regardless of what you've done to
Right.
me or have not. Like, that's unconditional in the spiritual context. In a human being context, there's walls and barriers and boundaries. So that's conditional.
Mm.
And we say it as a reverse of that's I have unconditional love, but as soon as your attitude changes toward me or do something that I don't like
Mm.
about you, then there goes conditions again.
Yeah.
And so it's a language phenomenon. It's a
Well,
language and a feeling.
it's interesting too, and I'm just kind of gonna try to digest this as I'm saying it. Okay,
Yeah.
so over the last several months, we've seen a lot of narrative of division across the globe, especially here in the United States, as we had the election followed by the
Mm.
inauguration and all of this stuff, right? And a
Mhm.
lot of what I was seeing was people saying, well, if someone, if your mom, your brother, your best friend, whoever voted for the other party, you should just cut them off. You should just not talk to them, etc. And
Mhm.
so that part of it goes back to, some of the boundary conversations that we've had where they felt for whatever reason like they need to put up a boundary. So
Mhm.
then I shift gears a little bit to what all of our definitions of love is. And if
Mhm.
the person that you have cut off, okay, you're the person that cut them off, all right, and your
Mhm.
definition of love is I can love them from afar, I can put up this boundary, and I can love
Mhm.
them from over here, right? But
Mhm.
let's say their definition of love is connection.
Mhm.
Their definition of love is communication. Their
Mhm.
definition. So now, because you've cut them off, they feel like they just don't love me. And
Mhm.
meanwhile, you're over here going, but I love you because I have this boundary. And
Exactly.
so we've got a
Exactly.
big disconnect happen when we choose not to have these conversations that are so important, because now everybody thinks that they're just, everybody's confused. It's what's happening.
So what I hear after listening to you, share that
Mm.
perspective of it, is what God has given me to teach. Our opinions, our opinions could be the conditions that we love from. And if
Mm.
you don't agree with my opinion, then I don't love you and I don't want to be around you.
Mm.
So that's what I heard, because our opinions, especially with up against another human being, we're
Right.
judging that person. You're judging that person with your opinion.
Mm.
So there's no freedom for me to be,
Right. Right.
because you have an opinion about my views of the president or the
Mm-hmm.
views of the religious conversation. So I can't even be Farron with how I feel and articulate and say it out loud. Or I don't like the Super Bowl because it was this and this. Well, you don't, but you must not like black people. Like those are the conversations, our opinions, and so you in love there are no opinions,
Mm.
because if I'm right and you're wrong, there's no love present in that experience. If I agree and disagree with you, there's no love in that experience.
Mm.
If I win and you lose as a human being, as a person, then there's no love there, because I might feel like I won, but you feel defeated.
Mm.
So is that love? No, we could have a conversation and not agree and still have love be present. But that's what you point to. The world is, we're so opinionated, especially with this thing right here. It's like I'm right and you're wrong in all the conversation. If you don't agree with me, then I'm not your friend. And
Right.
we lose friends because they don't agree with us.
Mm.
In one conversation, out of all the conversations in the world, there's one about politics, and so now we're not friends anymore because. But what about the 99 other things that we get along about?
Right.
Like, that's
Right.
unconditional love. That's conditional love.
Brittany said, "I think there's still love there. We're just choosing differently to protect ourselves." And I think what I was saying about that is that that may be what love means to you, but the person you are protecting yourself from may be processing love in a very different way.
Exactly.
And so that's like, before we go, okay, and we've had this conversation on this show before we go, okay, I'm going to put this boundary up. Are we having a conversation with the person to say, this is what I need to do for myself, or where are you coming from, or
Right.
anything like that? And
Right.
I'm not saying that this is easy. I'm not saying that it's, it does take two people to have a conversation. So I'm not saying that the other party is always going to be willing,
Right.
but we have to, I think the protection is fine if we are having a conversation about the protection. If we're saying, hey, I need to, this is what, even the word boundaries, you and I went round and
Yeah,
around
we
about
went.
that,
Yeah, we went. We went.
about how it looks differently and how it means different things to people. Somebody else might hear I'm putting up a boundary and they're going, oh, what did I
Right.
do?
Right.
And it's not processed. It doesn't feel like love anymore to them.
Right.
you know
And that's why I had to get my boundary from the spiritual context, from what the Bible says. And the Bible says you're supposed to protect your peace.
right.
Like, so I had to look and see what does that look like? Oh, that's me telling the truth to myself and saying, hey, you know what? I love you, and it's your character.
Mm.
I'll pick up the phone if you call me, but I'm choosing not to be around your character.
Mm.
But I love you. And
I
you
don't
tell
like that.
and you tell that person that, so they don't feel, like you said, they don't feel like you
Right.
ghosted them.
Right.
Because all of a sudden you just stopped talking to me. No, I shared with you that I love you, and I'm choosing not to be around your behavior.
Right. And see, like,
And that's
and
not
that's
wrong.
that it's interesting too with that part of the conversation. And y'all are just good. Are you good on time for
I'm good. Yeah, I'm
Can we
good.
wrap for a few minutes?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I think part of that's challenging is that, like you said, we all process things in a very different way. And so I've heard before that, I don't know if you've ever heard this. I would hope you didn't hear this, that New Englanders are rude. Have you heard that
I've heard
before?
that
That
before. Yeah, I've heard
Okay, so I've heard that before, and I grew up here, so I take it some kind of way.
that.
But I love it, and I've said this to people before. I love it because I would rather someone be honest with me
Yeah.
and tell me how they really feel than for me to have to sit back and guess.
Yeah.
Or try to go by, because as we know, we all show things differently. So how I process it and they're processing it are two different things.
Yeah.
So I would rather somebody be honest with me. Yeah, it's gonna sting. It's gonna sting. If somebody ever said to me what you just said about,
Yeah.
like, I don't want to hang out because you're a character, I would be like, oh, what?
Yeah.
I'm the nicest person on the planet. I would
Yeah.
have a whole fit, but it's like, okay, so we just have to. I would rather the sting for a minute and the honesty than to have to guess.
But see this, but it's perfect, because if the person says that to you and you take the sting and you're like, well, where did you learn that from?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And now you're gonna hear it's not personal to you.
Mm.
It's something that it was a learned behavior. And guess what? You might be able to disappear that learned behavior. That they might, oh, well, you know what? I didn't realize that my grandpa taught me that. Oh my goodness. I don't even really believe that anymore. Especially meeting you, because you're not that kind of person. So now I got to challenge what my environment taught me.
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful thing to experience. But like you said, but can we take the sting first though? Can you take the sting and realize that, oh, you know what? Maybe they're not talking about me personally. And that's what I'm saying. If you remove yourself out of that conversation and be like, well, where did you learn that from? I'm interested in how did you hear that New Englanders are rude? Well, who taught you? What did you? And now it's not even about you no more. Now you're engaged in it and they're expressing themselves, this whole world of rude people. And you're going to hear like, oh, well, wait a minute. They taught you that.
What does rude even mean to you? Because like
exactly
definitions of that are going to be really different.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Jessica. That's what I'm saying. It's so important love can be torn down with just a simple conversation like that and the experience of it. I really believe love is an experience, but I bring that experience to the table, not you.
Yeah.
That's why the agape love is so important at its highest, because I can still bring love to be present, even though I don't like you or agree with you, or even if I have a boundary about you, I could still have love be present when we walk away.
Mm.
And that takes a different kind of person to set aside their opinions, their views, the self-discussion, like I'm not good enough to have this conversation. Like, how am I talking to myself? But we could still go through all that and we can hang up the phone and still have love present.
Right.
But that's the highest level of love.
It's tough. It's tough.
It's,
because I mean, because
possible.
I sit here and say, you know, I have felt that at times. I've looked back. So for example, in history where you might have a person that's done something really heinous, and I'm like, I feel like I have love for them. Like I have something, there's something there that's making me feel for them, making me feel for the little child that came into this world before all of that stuff happened. I have some kind of love there. I've expressed that before in some of the conversations I've had in some of our events and things like that. But then I say to myself, okay, Jessica, but if they did something directly to you, okay, so now let's just use an example and say somebody beat somebody up, and I say to myself, okay, I feel like love for them because before they beat somebody up, there's something there. There's a soul connection, something like that. But if they beat me up, how would that shift, if at all? Like
it goes back to the character. Like, right. I love you.
Right.
But your character, I can't be around you, so you walk away from that relationship. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to hate them in your heart, because now now you go like, well, what are you like? What were you dealing with? Like, what pushed you to the point that you wanted to fight me, and that you fought me? This is the consequence. That, you know what? I love you, and I'm gonna walk away.
I am looking up. Okay, there is a quote. Okay, I don't know what the quote is or who it came from and everything else, but I know that there's a thought that the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference.
Sounds right.
How do you feel about that?
I believe that. It goes back to the opinion for me. It goes back to the opinion, because if I'm able to put Farron aside of this conversation and listen to you, then you're going to tell me if it's directly to me or if it's some past experience about you. And if you point that to me as, well, you did this to me and I did that to you, then I could sit back and say, you know what? Well, let me see. Oh, you know what? I was being a jerk that day. You got me. I was being or I did say that on purpose to hurt you. See, so now I also have to be responsible for my behavior too in this disagreement. Maybe in that political conversation about the presidency, I was trying to be right too. So me being right, I invalidated your experience instead of me putting my opinion aside and see why you like that other person. And we could have probably still been friends, but maybe I was trying to be right.
But there's so many people that are saying that if you like a certain person, that's but it's not about right or wrong or love or not love, that it's a moral thing.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, do we all have the same morals? No. So then the morals is the label. Are you willing to peel off the morals conversation label and get to what is that morals for you? Because maybe how I grew up, I don't have that moral issue that you might have from your environment. It doesn't make me wrong.
Do you think people care enough to have that conversation? I mean, this is for real. Like,
no, you know why? Because if it was, the world would be a different place as it is. Because sometimes I would rather be right than to have love present, because I want to be right. But that's the heart of man, which is corrupted. So yeah, I know that I'm wrong and you're right, but I'll fight to be right so I don't look bad. And then what happened to you and Farron? Man, we don't have the same morals.
Imagine saying that. Like,
right, that's what I'm saying. Can you imagine saying?
but I've
Like,
heard it. I've
I
heard it. Like,
I
and
know.
it hurt. Listen, when I tell you, it hurts
It
my
makes
heart
no
so bad.
sense. It makes no sense. Oh, we fell out because of his morals. What does that even mean?
Mm.
But that's again, and it's not right or wrong because I don't know what that person is dealing with in their life, right? You don't have it, so you got to put that conversation aside and find out what's going on if they're willing to have that talk.
Right.
If not, then they get to be right, but they get the life that they get, and you get to walk around being right and not experience love in your life.
Yeah.
As a presence.
Yeah.
And for some people, we're so hurt and fractured and wounded that I don't even want to feel that love no more. It hurts too bad. So yeah, I'll walk around and I'll become righteous. And then my opinion is the truth. And so I don't care about you. But then I go home and I'm suffering in silence because I don't have any friends. Like, I don't, right? And then now you gotta be okay with that.
Yeah.
Because you can accept anything and you cannot accept anything. But whatever you don't accept, that's in your space because that person's gone about their life if you don't accept them. Now you're carrying that weight. Now let's talk about what is that costing you to be that kind of person? Your health, your well-being, the mental anguish. Because you got to remember, oh, I don't talk to Farron because of that. Like I'm not carrying that. You're carrying that. Don't you know that bothers your health?
And then my question is, okay, so say you cut somebody off because they're different than you in whatever way, and then let's say something happens and they're the only ones that can save you. They have that one blood type that you need, or
Exactly.
that whatever that one. Like, what are you willing to sacrifice in exchange for your cutting off your boundaries, your in my world, lack of love?
Well, if that person came to me after all of our political disagreements one day and says, "Hey, Farron, man, you know what? I still want to work with you and do some stuff together," I would do it because I have no alt with that. I'm not carrying anything because I understand that my morals are different than yours. So, but they would have to have that something in them to be like to make that phone call though.
Right.
Like you gotta eat. You gotta eat that. Eat those words, but it's ridiculous. But this is where we are in society today.
I want to pose one final question to the people, and as we finish up,
What is love? Where's not Shaka Khan? We're looking for what's her name?
What?
Tina Turner.
What's love got to do?
Tina!
To do with it?
I had a list of songs too. Wait, where are my songs? I'm only human. I'm human first.
Are we born knowing love or being love, or is it something we learn through experience? What's your thought on that?
Are we born?
Are we born knowing love or being love, or is it something we learned through experience? I want to hear from all of you down in the comments before Farron and I say anything. Are we born? Let us know what you think. Are we born knowing or being love, or is it something we learn through experience?
Oh, I'm looking at my spiritual conversation first, and we're born in sin and rebellion. Like it's funny how my grandson knew how to say no before anything, right? So that's not love.
Sometimes saying no is a good thing.
Well, yeah, of course, but when you're an infant, so I think I want to say that we have to be taught love. We have to be taught love.
Interesting. I would disagree.
I think we have to be taught that.
I would disagree. I think our souls, or our energy, as Brittany put it, or our being, I think we are love. In fact, I end every episode of Project Joy Live saying that. Remember, you are love. And I think that by remembering that that's who we are at our core, it can help turn us around from the darkest times, the most challenging experiences. It can help us to be on a path that maybe we could never even imagine ourselves on, to remember that we are love at our core. Now, the expression of love is something we learn through experience. But
I can see that.
my belief is that at our core, it's who we are.
But what are you pointing to as your core? Is you point to your spirit being?
It's something undescribable, like our soul, our spirit, our energy,
because the soul is the soul. The brain is designed to survive life, right? So there's nothing about love and surviving. I would eat my arm off to stay alive. So that's not about necessarily love. But if you're looking at the spiritual being.
But see, you're attaching love to other things again. If you take everything else off, I just want everybody close your eyes for a minute. Just close your eyes for a minute. I know that it's hard and it's something that's outside of us, but take everything else off the table. The actions, the experiences, the relationships, all of it. If you separate, if you just have love as love, that's it. There's nothing you can attach to it. Then I believe that it's there from the gate. Brittany also agrees. She thinks we're born as love, but she said she thinks life experiences change our views on love as well, which I also agree with.
Yeah, but like I said, I have to do some more research because I know spiritually we're born in sin and iniquity. We're born in rebellion.
But I can also, if you want to go biblical, I can say God is love, and if we are created in His image.
Yes, we are. And that's why it also says that we have to renew our hearts and our minds.
But that's the action part later.
That's the work.
I'm talking about the creation, the point of creation.
Yeah, I don't know.
Point of creation.
I don't know. Because I don't know.
Because if we were not there from the get-go, what do we have to go back to?
What are you talking? Go back to where?
Because you're talking about forgiveness and repentance and all of that. What do we have to go back there if it's not there from the gate?
Yeah, because it's mixed with rebellion.
But again, you're attaching other things to love that you're not separating it.
Yeah, because I can't. So there's love right here. I can't. It's not something that I can point to.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So there is no wrong answer.
So you can't attach things to it. And
so there's no wrong answer.
To go, okay, to be able to see it from that perspective of we are born as, like from point of creation, whenever that is, whenever you believe that is, whether it's in the womb, whether it's before the womb and your other past 300 lives, whether it's when you're coming out, whenever it is, whatever you believe it. In order for you to believe it there, you have to be able to have some sense of separating it from everything else. And I believe that that's out of our understanding as humans.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That it has no real answer because everybody has their views of it. And I'm just thinking from spiritual context, we're born in sin and rebellion. And the only person who wasn't born in that was Jesus Christ and his example. And that's where we're trying to be like him. He was love. He didn't have the rebellion. So
it'd be interesting to hear from you guys what you think.
What is
your perspective?
Baby, don't hurt me.
On that, I am going to leave this conversation sticking by what I have, since I had a really big shift in my own self. When as I've been going through the different seasons of Project Joy, and that's that we are joy, we are love, and that's how we start off, and that's what we go back to try to find our way back after life experience, after we learn and unlearn a lot of these different things throughout our lives. That's what we can go back to keep us on a good path in our life. So that's what
it's funny because at 5 years old, my mind made a decision that my dad didn't love me. And I'm 5. Now, what does a 5-year-old language have to say that the experience of my dad not being there or leaving on that Christmas day, that my mind equated that to he doesn't love me? how does that connect? I don't even know, but I can tell you that that's my experience of what I made the decision from at 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so how is that, that a 5-year-old would say that to himself, or the brain function to survive that moment of pain
Right.
says, oh, he left because he doesn't love me. That's a phenomenon. I don't know anybody can have an answer
It's
to that.
interesting. It's interesting,
Yeah.
and that's why we say that it's layered, or it's nuanced, or it's
And no one is wrong, and no one is wrong. Your views are your views, and like you said,
because at the end of the day, does it even matter?
right? But you
Does
said
it
it
matter at
perfectly.
what point it started?
You said it perfectly. Your truth sets you free from that, and each one of us has to find our truth that sets us free, so that we can be a better person and leave people with the experience of love from us.
Yeah.
And that's the journey at the end of the day.
That's it.
Love it or leave it.
So Brittany was saying before, are you sure that you're going to need more? You might need more than 4 episodes.
Brittany, come be a guest. Yeah, we do. We need 5. Come on, Brittany. Pop on the screen. That's episode number 5.
So listen, the next 3 episodes will be back
not.
February 25th. And 2 Tuesdays to talk about the language of love. Some of y'all may have heard of the love languages. So we're going to unpack that a little bit, as well as how I think we can get into as well some of the conversation that we have. Now, can you just be serious for 5 seconds?
I don't want to talk about this. Can you tell?
You know what I'm gonna do? This is what I'm gonna do right here. This is what I'm gonna do. Okay, so listen, for the next.
Hey, I can't see myself.
It's dark in here. Okay. So the next one, February 25th, we're going to talk about the language of love, to talk about love languages, and as well as just, I think, getting into how we have some of these conversations about love as well. And then March 11th, 2 Tuesdays after that, we'll be talking about unmasking love's challenges. So what are some of the challenges with love? How do we have some of those more challenging conversations about love? And finally, March 25th, we'll be talking about love in action. And I always love the final episode in our series, because it says, okay, what can we do though? Like, how can we shift our thinking? How can we act on what we say we're feeling, and some of these other things? How can we make the world a better place through these conversations?
Are we going to have a therapist?
We need to. I'm going to need therapy after this, and dealing with all your nonsense.
I'm a patient advocate, so I'm not trying to analyze or none. I'm just speaking from my own experience, but I might need some assistance. Episode 5. Help. No, we should be all right though.
Need somebody.
I'm the owner of a broken heart, so.
Owner of a
lonely heart.
This is going to be karaoke season here on Beyond 2D.
Me. The biz.
Brittany said she's going to be there. Let me know if y'all are going to be there, because we.
All right. We're going to keep you on the hook for that.
It's a good conversation to have. Thank you, Farron, for engaging in this lovely topic. Oh
my God, we made it.
In the spirit of love, we're going to end each episode of this series with Dorothy Auger's 4 Love poem, and reminding us to stand for love even in the challenging times, and whatever love looks like to you. Okay,
listen to the words. Listen to the words, please.
Listen to the words.
And examine yourself with those words too.
I am Jessica Dugas. This is
the one and only Farron Dozier.
We've gone beyond 2D. Okay.
Yes.
And we'll see you in a couple of weeks for another episode. Thank you for being here this evening.
Camera 5, back to you in the studios.
Bye, everybody. Have a good night.
I shall stand for love, even with a broken soul, even with a heavy heart. I shall stand for love, for the world is wounded, not just my little piece of land, where I am mostly safe, where I'm mostly well, but our world, everywhere, every day. I shall stand for love, because we need more light, not more death, Not more power, not more bombs. I shall stand for love, so that our children are safe, so that our friends are sheltered, so that our borders are open. I shall stand for love, even with a broken soul, even with a heavy heart.